News flash video. It's easy box. This is your boy Josh. Welcome to the preview of the Zenless Zone Zero version 2.2 special program. Yes, sir. Today, in this short little video, I wanted to go over a couple of things that we can prepare ourselves for with the announcements of version 2.2 and just what to expect going into the version, because a lot of people, understandably, seem quite hyped when it comes to the characters, yet there are some other things that I want us to be a little bit more hyper aware of as we are going into the greater depths of 2.x. But make sure that you guys tune into our version 2.2 special program watch party over on Friday. I'm going to be joined by a bunch of other streamers as well as a post-game interview type of, vibe. We're all just going to be chatting the council of sorts, and we'll just be kicking it. Some of your favorite streamers, some of your favorite Zenless Zone content creators we'll be talking and we'll be yapping about version 2.2 after the special program. Let's talk about what we have here with the poster. Honestly, Orphie and Seed look absolutely adorable. And as you guys know from a lot of the quote-unquote beta footage of sorts and the pre-release footage of Seed and Orphie, holy cow, they look interesting. However, it doesn't really move the needle for a lot of people when it comes to their designs and potentially their kit. However, again, the numbers are another thing entirely. If the numbers turn out to be incredibly strong, then hey, all the more power to these characters. But to me, Orphie and Seed seem a little bit lackluster in terms of the diversity of how you play the kits. We expect to see Seed jump into the mech or jump in and out of the mech, use her mech in some form, shape, or fashion. She has a scooter as well, right? That's pretty interesting. And then Orphie and Magus, I'll be honest, I thought we were going to see something a little bit more in terms of a dragonic type of playstyle, but she seems a little bit more grounded from what we're able to tell, especially since Magus, who's the tail, the dragon tail of sorts, it seems to be okay. I don't know. The kit doesn't seem to be that terribly exciting to me. However, we still have to wait for W Engine. We still have to wait for Mindscapes. I know a lot of you guys are very excited about how they are going to perform on the battlefield. So we're going to have to hold off until the special program. But let's move then forward into some other pieces of content that we can expect in version 2.2. And that next being drive discs. Every even patch, we tend to have a refresh or refurbishing of certain drive discs. We either have a power creep like we saw with Woodpecker to Shadow Harmony, and then Freedom Blues with Phaethon's Melody of sorts, quote unquote. Now we are hopefully going to be seeing a new attack drive disc. Hopefully it seems that we're getting an attack drive disc. We have 2 attack units, so you would hope to see an attack drive disc that potentially works with these 2. If it's Oboe Squad, maybe it has to do with Aftershock. Trigger and Sambi are very Aftershock oriented, so maybe we could see that with these 2. We'll have to wait and see. And the other set is a complete toss-up, whether it be a stun set, whether it be a support set, maybe, God forbid, it's a defense set. I wouldn't think it to be, but that set in particular is going to be indicative of what we can expect the next character to be. Very much how the Shadow Harmony came out in 1.6, and then we got Phaethon's Melody as well, who matched up with Vivian. So too, more than likely, will we get an attack set for the Oboe Squad members, and then we're going to get another set that will define or kind of reveal what we are going to be getting in 2.3. So if you guys have been saving your batteries, if you guys have saving your reserves, really good stuff. Make sure you guys start doing that now. If you guys haven't, and if you guys don't have much to farm for, maybe just let the batteries overflow into the 2400 reserve, such that you at least have something in the back burner, or just again use them for the purposes of just getting the gold hi-fi copies and then just converting that into the new drive disc when we come out with the Bark Needle. But make sure to look out for drive discs, as not only just do you have to grab the character, but you do have to build them. So that is going to be one thing in particular that we got to look out for, or potentially some more budget sets for these characters. We'll have to see. Next, let's take a look at a little piece of lore. With the version 2.2 special program, the patch is called Don't Go Gentle into that good night. This is, of course, a nod to Dylan Thomas's beautiful, beautiful poem. As you guys have potentially may have heard of this poem line before, it came from, or it was more modernly popularized by Interstellar. And it's a poem essentially about, you know, clinging onto life and continuing to fight. That is quite interesting because we've kind of gone over this sort of initial hump of what we expected our initial conflict to be in the new, you know, Wi-Fi Peninsula. And now we're in a situation where we have to survive, or we have to fight for survival. So going by the lore of what we've kind of set up, we do have the Legion's 300 of obscura sacrifices of sorts, and they're all littered throughout the peninsula. And the whole point now going forward is that we have to work with the Defense Force and potentially HIA and other big parties to be able to combat and potentially find these 300 obscura drops, and then be able to neutralize them before they can actually, you know, wake up and cause havoc around Eridu. So not terribly sure how the patch is going to go. It might set up such that we actually lose in this patch. I think that this might be an omen of sorts to us actually losing and us not being able to contain the 300, and thus potentially, you know, having to fight back again after the fact that, you know, the 300 obscura, you know, ethereals and whatnot, they wreak havoc on the peninsula. We couldn't stop them, and or it helps to realize an even greater enemy, just like how the miasmic priest was able to create the miasmic fiend out of Yijiang's memories of sorts. It could be that they're going to use the memories and data from the 300 to be able to create the ultimate beast of sorts. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm very interested about the story. The lore in itself, I'm very curious about Obel Squad, but maybe not so much as other people. To be honest, I'm more of a Yunquoi Summit type of guy, which is kind of weird because I understand that, you know, that faction is not as popular as Obel Squad. But you guys let me know who you like in terms of the factions of 2.0. I know Spookjack is one of people's all-time favorites, and they did an amazing job in 2.1 of really, you know, telling an amazing story around those characters. So I'm very hopeful that the Obel Squad will get really, really good treatment. And then hopefully down the line, we get to rediscover, again, redefine what it means to be a Yunquoi Summit member. Hopefully down the road, we introduce Yeshiyuan, I believe. Yeshiyuan, and then his sister also. Hopefully those two will be the new Yunquoi Summit characters, and then, you know, who knows, maybe one of them might be the actual Void Hunter, so we'll have to see about that. But it also does look like, let's go back to this version. In terms of the story, this is already going ahead into 2.3. Yeah, we already have hints of 2.3, especially from the 2.1 ending epilogue. We are potentially going to be getting Minato and Zhao after this version patch, and it's only going to be confirmed at Gamescom, which should be, again, the weekend that this special program comes out, which is really, really exciting. More than likely, we are going to reiterate the announcement of Seed, Orphie at Gamescom, and then announce Minato and Zhao, which, I'll be honest, is probably not the best use of Gamescom. And, you know, again, you know, Orphie's a great character. Everybody loves Orphie. Seed, she has her audience. Minato and Zhao are not looking to be such high profile characters. To me personally, if it weren't to be Minato and Zhao, which are, you know, the more conventional picks when it comes to the storyline, we could even see potentially an Angels of Delusion announced, as we saw in the summer event. We saw one of them, cough cough, I won't spoil it if you guys haven't done the summer event just yet. That is probably the most unlikely, and then we might see a Yeshiyuan pop up, maybe as an A tier sorts. Who knows? But yeah, I'm very, very intrigued on how they're going to space out these units, especially when they actually came out with a dev talk, one of the recent dev talks in the CN community. They actually hinted at converting NPCs into playable characters, and if it made sense for the story, yada yada yada, they do it. Again, like Pokra was initially an NPC, but obviously had plans to become a playable character. So too, could we see Damien, the HIA guy, become playable at sorts? Zhao potentially is a part of Krampus, so you could see Damien converting into Krampus and then, him pairing up with Zhao. We'll see. I don't know how that's going to work. And then one of my fan favorites is Isolde, the leader of the defense force, or temporary leader of the defense force. She is a general, yeah, of sorts, right? But then I don't know if she's not exactly in charge of the Obel Squad, but she's in charge of the tentative umbrella that Obel Squad is a part of, the defense force. Regardless, Isolde, I really want to be playable. She looks absolutely gorgeous, and I do want to see her in combat. She played a much more managerial type of leadership role when it came to 2.1, so potentially getting to see her take the battlefield will be really, really cool. We already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-ish, around 5-ish or 6-ish characters that we're already really excited about, and then moving forward we still have to see potential fan favorites like an S rank Billy of sorts, maybe running back some of the older factions, maybe doing some upgrades to some of the older units. I would love to see them touch back upon either Jane Doe like we did with Ellen Jo, either Jane Doe or maybe one of the standard units. Some of the standard units, I don't think they're going to upgrade any of the A tiers, probably not, so it potentially have to be some of the standard units, or maybe they even just work on Juyen or Qingyi. I don't think they would, because they don't need to, but as so far as a character who would need modernization a little bit, it would have to be Jane Doe. But I am excited to see some shifting changes, some reworks, and announcements of new characters as we head into version 2.4. I'll be straight up honest with you. After all this discussion, I feel as though that this patch, with the content itself, is going to be quite filler. When it comes to the story, I think the story should be okay, should be good, should be engaging. However, I think the content is going to be a little bit less, a little bit pulled back and reserved from what we expected in terms of the pacing as we were growing up and up and up. So I just don't want to get our hopes up, nor do I want to doom post it. So I just want you guys again to come into 2.2 with a little bit more of a tamer, realistic expectation because of how Zenless Zone Zero is pacing out its 2.x patches. Again, let me know down in the comments what you guys are excited for. What is the big ticket item that you guys are excited for? You guys excited for Seed, Orphie, the story, the lore, maybe some reworks, or maybe some exciting extra news or qualities of life that they can introduce? Let me know down in the comments. Make sure to like and tune in to our Friday morning stream for the Zenless Zone Zero special program watch party. I'll be live. We'll actually be giving away internet passes because we just reached 25k subscribers on YouTube. So thank you so much. All right, folks. It's your boy Josh. See you in the next one.